All right, so we are in class number two. Class number two, dealing with the issue of nevuah, prophecy, right? So we have the issue of nevuah, we have the issue of prophecy, and we studied last week how does a person even become a prophet, right? So that's last week's class, and what was amazing about it is that the foundation of prophecy is a supreme intelligence, right? So if a person is not a wise person, he's not intelligent, he doesn't know the sciences, he doesn't know Torah, of course, but he doesn't have a supreme intelligence, is way superior to the intelligence of other people, he cannot become a Navi. So if you see a guy who's like, kind of, like little off kilt, you know what I'm saying? He's not going to be a Navi, right? And you see that unfortunately you see people pretending to be Kabbalists who really aren't, Chas v'shalom, we never want to disparage anyone, but we do have to use our judgment. So we say, okay, if the person isn't so brilliant in his mind, is he really a Kabbalist, right? It's a good question. And the answer is, no, he is not. That's not the way it works. Shalom Aleichem, Birchim Habayim, right? So it's important to be aware of this. It's important to be aware of who can even become a Navi, okay? So the Naviim were like super intelligent, right? Super knowledgeable, super ethical in their behavior. And then from that, you say, okay, they reach a new level. Okay, so sometimes people stop in their intellectual growth, but the Navi, he gets to a new level. So that's what we studied last week about the process, how you become a Navi. This week we're going to be studying about the actual content of the Nevuah. And that's an interesting subject because it shows you the way the mind of the Navi receives the divine message. Yes?
So this is different, this is distinct from times when somebody gets Ruach HaKodesh, right? There are times when somebody gets Ruach HaKodesh that's not a Navi per se.
No, according to Harambam, and I completely abide or accept the opinion of Harambam, Ruach HaKodesh is just a low level of Nebu'ah. So somebody is not going to get Ruach HaKodesh unless he is supremely intelligent to begin with, and then because he's intelligent, there's a foundation. It's like you say, I want to study physics, but I don't know any mathematics. Well, you can't study physics if you don't know mathematics. It's just that simple. There's nothing to do. Because physics is spoken in the language of mathematics. I want to be a doctor, but I know nothing about biology. Well, it's just, you can't be a doctor if you don't know biology.
It's just that if we were to go through the Tanakh and find every instance where somebody had a Ruach HaKodesh, is it necessarily the case that every one of those individuals you would characterize as shalim in their character?
Yes. At the moment that they had the Ruach HaKodesh, because people, sometimes there's fluctuations in life, there's ebbs and flows, but at the moment that they had their Ruach HaKodesh, take for example Shaul at the moment that he became a Navi, he was a perfect character. Later on he had a downfall, that's a different story. And by the way, just because somebody had Ruach HaKodesh for a moment in his life, and then they didn't have Ruach HaKodesh for the rest of his life, because we don't always maintain that perfection of mind. So you can be like a great athlete when you're 18 years old or 20 years old, and then there's a decline in your physical state and you're not a great athlete anymore. You can't run the marathon for your whole life. So the same thing with Nevuah. Not all Nevi'im maintained their incredible perfection throughout their life, and then there was a slight decline, and we should all have that decline where we come back to our level, not even our level, above our level, their decline, right? So we're not saying this disparagingly, okay? All right, so now let's talk about the actual mechanism through which Hashem speaks to the Navi. This is important. How am I speaking to you? I'm using language. So human language, what are words? Words are symbols, right? And each word signifies something. So if I say the word bottle, so your brain captures that sound and it translates the sound into a particular meaning. A bottle, right? That's the nature of human language. So human language is this one form of communication. There's different types of communication. So how does Hashem communicate to the Navi? And that's what we're dealing with today. So first of all, it's not necessarily human language. When Hashem speaks to the Navi, he uses a different mechanism. Okay? That's what we're reading. Bechulam. En ro'in mar'eh ha-nebu'ah. Number one, for the Navi's brain. Now let me put it to you this way. For that part of the brain, there is a part of the brain that can accept the prophetic message from, who, by the way, who gives the Navi the prophetic message? It comes from Hashem, of course. And then it goes to a malach. And then, from the malach, it goes to the brain of the Navi. Okay, did you get the three steps? It starts with Hashem. Hashem speaks to the malach, and the malach comes to the Navi, and the Navi hears, or the Navi is in contact with the malach. You understand that point? So now, when the malach speaks to the Navi, there's a part of the brain that can accept the communication of the malach. So now, when you're awake, when the Navi is awake, that part of the brain doesn't work. It's off. And let me explain to you. So, when I was growing up, they had AM radio and they have FM radio. Do they still have it nowadays?
Yes.
Okay, I thought they only had Sirius. Okay, I thought they just had satellite radio. So, imagine there's AM and there's FM. Now, there's a light music. I like this light music station, whatever the light music station is. I'm not going to mention it because then there'll be lawsuits and, you mentioned it, advertising out of it. Whatever, light music station. I like light music. And I have it on the AM band. And I'm like moving trying to find, and I'm not going to find it because it's the wrong band. As long as you're on that band, you're not going to be able to get that station, right? So that's the mashal. The nimshal is the Navi. When the Navi is awake, he's on the wrong band. What band is he on when he's awake? He's on the band that says, I need to process the physical world around me. That band will not allow you to reach the light FM music that you want to reach. It's just the wrong one, right? So what does he have to be? En ro'in mar'eh ha-nebu'ah ela b'chalom. He has to be asleep. And when he is asleep, then that band can activate itself, and he can see the mar'eh ha-nebu'ah. He can see it in a dream. He can see it in a vision. You understand the point? So the Navi, always, every single place in the Torah, except for one case, or one situation, which we'll discuss later. Okay, but other than that exception that we'll discuss later, every time a Navi hears the voice of Hashem speaking to him, he's asleep, or he's in a state of deep, deep sleep, tardema or shena. Okay, we're going to bring some examples. כמו שנאמר, במראה אליו אתוודע. When I, says Hashem in Perashat Be'alotecha, at the end of the Perashat, Hashem says, when I speak to a prophet, במראה אליו אתוודע, בחלום אדבר בו. There has to be a mirror. There has to be a mirror that can reflect whatever message it is I want to give him, right? And we'll see that the messages are usually visual messages, parables. He'll see a Megillah, right? He'll see a tree. He'll see whatever. It's a visual message. So in order to capture the visual message, there has to be a mar'ah. There has to be a mirror, a vision. But a vision requires a mirror in order to capture it, right? And this happens when he's sleeping. So this mirror that can capture that vision is when he's asleep, in a dream state. So in a dream state, he can capture the vision. You understand the point of the pasuk? Right? So the mar'ah is the mirror. And that mirror is active when he's asleep and he's in a dream state. You understand? Okay. Let's get v'chulam. Yes, Elliot.
Do you think we could do one class on the Malachim, like early in Yesodei HaTorah? I think we skipped over that part.
I know, it's a little esoteric. I don't feel... Right, so some of the esoteric parts, a lot of the esoteric parts I kind of skipped over. Okay. וכולן כשמתנבאים, אבריהם מזדעזעים לכוח הגוף חושר. Now, when they get the nebu'ah, We said that one of the characters of the Nabi is he has to be very physically fit. You remember we said that last week? He has to be healthy. Okay, one of the reasons he has to be healthy is because when they get the, okay, so you have this human brain, and the human brain is managing the human body, okay? There's a lot of things that are happening in the body that the human brain is managing. So the brain is like this incredible super computer. So it's managing the heartbeat, right? It's managing the digestive process. It's managing a lot of things. There's a lot of electrical signals going from the brain to the different parts of the body. Now, the nevuah is so powerful that when your brain is managing all those things, it can't accept the nevuah. So what happens? The brain is sort of pulled away from the regular activities. It's pulled away so that it's free to receive the nevuah, the prophetic vision, right? You understand? It can't do two things. It can't, as powerful as the brain is, and the brain is an incredible supercomputer, it can manage the body, but it can't manage the body and also receive the vision from the malach. You understand? So there is a process where the brain is pulled away from its regular processes, and when that happens, the body begins to shake, and there's a tremendous weakness that comes upon the Navi, because it's very frightening. Suddenly your body, which is usually controlled by the brain and everything is working well, suddenly the brain is doing something completely else, and the body, so to speak, collapses. And this causes a state of nervous confusion. The nervous system is not working as it should. But all this is for a reason. It is not just to be dramatic. I could have said it's to be dramatic, but no, it's not. The reason is so that the mind is free to receive the message of God. You understand? You understand that point? Once the mind is pulled away from its regular function, it can receive the message. Yes, Raymond?
Do you think that's the mashma'ut of the pasuk in Vayera that talks about Abraham?
Yes. In fact, he's going to bring it now. Hazakum Baruch. He's going to bring it. It's Perashat Lech Lecha in Beri Ben Abetarim, where he says that's right. So he's going to bring it now. Excellent. Here, look. Kemoshe Ne'amar Abraham. Right on target. Vehinne ema hashicha gedola nofelet alav. Beautiful. You see. So what happened? This is Abraham Avinu. What? Ruach HaKodesh, okay. All right, so Avraham Avinu was at the highest level of Nevuah, right? Except for one person, which we'll deal with later. So Avraham Avinu was at the highest level. Even Avraham Avinu was at the highest level. Hashem comes to him in Berit Ben Abetarim. Hashem wants to tell him, I'm going to give the land of Israel to your children, and then he gives them the whole Nevuah about the 4 generations, right? And before the Nevuah happens, as the Nevuah was about to happen, it says, there was a dark, horrifying presence that befell Avraham Avinu. So that's the malach. When the malach comes, the presence of the malach is horrifying, and it pulls the mind away from, as I said, from managing the body, and now it's in the presence of the malach, right? So that's what Avraham Avinu was experiencing in Berit Ben Habetarim. He was experiencing this presence. Similar thing happened to Daniel. Daniel was at the lowest level of Nevuah, by the way. So Daniel was at the level of Nevuah that Harambam designates level number 1, which is Ruach HaKodesh. That's what you referred to before, Ruach HaKodesh. So Ruach HaKodesh, Daniel, he was in the presence of the Malach. There was a Mar'ah over there. The Pasuk actually uses the word Mar'ah in the case of Daniel, right? Which is the word we used for Behalotecha. But Mar'ah elav etvada. So, hold on one second. Right. So, when that happened, Daniel says that Hodi, what does Hod mean? My beauty, meaning my intellect. Nehepach alayla mashchit. The intellect, which when you're a wise man, you love your intellect, right? You get tremendous joy from the mind because you're studying Torah and you're thinking about Hashem and things like that. So it gives you joy. Vehodi nehepach alai lemashchit. That beauty, that hod, it felt like it was killing me. It was horrifying because through the hod he was able to experience the malach, and the experience of the malach is, as I said, it's a terrifying experience, and he was having it. And then he says, all my strength left me. So it's so being a Navi, the experience of Nevuah is a very chilling experience for the Navi. Yes?
But
Okay.
it's clear.
What?
That part is good. It's clear. When it's happening, you know that it's happening.
And when it's correct, you're 100% correct. Meaning, there's no doubt. You know if you had a nevuah, you had a nevuah because it's unlike anything else that ever happened. And it's not like chas v'shalom. Sometimes people mistakenly say, you take some drugs. Drugs, all they do is they fry the brains and they make you stupid. Okay, drugs is not a religious experience. It's an experience of just killing your brain cells and ensuring that when you go to Olam Haba, you'll just have a little less to experience when you finally do get there. So that's the opposite of Nevuah. Nevuah, it's a healthy brain, but it's just the brain is now, so to speak, so occupied by the word or the vision or the message of the Malach that if anything, it's the opposite, but it's just not managing the body. So it's horrifying. Yes, please.
How is this different from somebody speaking to Hashem?
How does it speaking to Hashem?
Because you have all these instances in the Torah where Moshe was speaking to Hashem, or Abraham was speaking to Hashem, but in
Yeah, well, speaking.
cases,
Well,
that's
wait.
not anymore.
No, speaking to Hashem is not necessarily nevuah, unless it's happening in a nevuah. So when Avraham Avinu was speaking to Hashem, it's not like me praying. So maybe you're praying and you're speaking to Hashem. That's tefillah. When Avraham is speaking to Hashem, he's in a prophetic vision and he's having this back and forth dialogue, right? So not all Nevi'im had that, by the way. For example, some Nevi'im, when they were in the nevuah, they didn't have the presence of mind or the strength to speak back to Hashem. Avraham Avinu did have that presence of mind, and he was able to have a dialogue with Hashem because he was at the highest level of nevuah. You understand? But not all of them had it. Yes, sir.
A quick question.
I'm sorry.
What,
Yeah, no, go ahead.
what about when you have like a dream and it actually comes true, like?
Right. That's not a nevuah. It is.
I'm not worried about. I want to ask you for this nevuah or not. About a lot of scientists.
Yeah.
They're also unusual people, and they are under Hashem.
Right.
So, for example, Mendeleev,
Right.
he opened his table.
Who?
He wrote his table.
Who is this?
Mendeleev is very famous scientist.
Okay.
His table
Yeah.
with elements is very famous.
Okay.
By all countries know about it.
Oh yeah, the periodic table. Okay, right. So let me
He opened in the dream. This is the
right.
point.
Let me explain. There's a difference
Did you
between.
understand what I asked?
Yes, I did. There's a difference between chokhmah and nevuah. Now, first, let me answer your question. So sometimes when a person has a dream, he does have some insights. It's not a nevuah though. That's just part of the human being has a brain, and this brain is holy, and sometimes we have these insights. That's not a nevuah, right? So, but you're right. Yeah, it's an amazing thing. It's like wow, you have a dream. I go to the Netz Minyan. I was in Israel, I used to go to the Netz Minyan. Now I don't anymore. But when I was there, I used to go to the Netz Minyan. So on Shabbat, I used to go to the Netz Minyan. So I used to love it. I used to wake up with my 3 boys. I didn't care. They wanted, sometimes they were very good about it. They were good, very good. So we go to the Netz Minyan. It's really early in the morning. Oh my gosh, it's summer. It's like, So anyway, go to the Netz Minyan. So sometimes we get home 6:37. We do kiddush and go to afterwards I take a 1 hour nap and then wake up and study Torah. So that was my thing. So a lot of times you have a dream, So once when somebody comes to me in the dream, Rabbi Meir, and he wants to discuss a question of Hilchot Shabbat with me, a very specific question. We had this discussion in the dream. Wake up. My Talmid comes to me because I have another class that I go to. I used to give a Shabbat morning. I used to give a class. I give a class 10 o'clock. But I'm studying Torah and I don't want to look at the clock. So I told my Talmid, come pick me up when it's time for the class. It was 11 o'clock now that I'm thinking. Come pick me up when it's time for the class. So he would always come 11:15, come to my house. So anyway, so I went to sleep that day, as I said. Slept for about an hour. Had a discussion with the Rabbi Meir, something to do with the Hilchot Shabbat. Wake up, now I'm studying Torah, my Talmid comes, pick me up, on the way he says, Rabbi, I have a question. The exact same question that Rabbi Abe discussed with me in the dream was what the Talmid discussed with me on the way there. So is it a coincidence? No. Is it a nevuah? No. It's a human mind has access to certain, it's kadosh. The mind is kadosh. Because it's kadosh, you have sparks of wisdom. Right? So even in Go, you mentioned the periodic table. So the periodic table, the Daniel says, Yahiv Hakimah la Hakimin, Uman de'ali adevena, that Hashem gives wisdom to people. That's not nevuah. So just because you have wisdom, Albert Einstein was not a Navi. Just get that clear. So man has intelligence. By the way, when a bee produces the most perfect hexagon, it's so perfect that we human beings just make me draw a hexagon like a bee does. I can't produce a hexagon like a bee. Is a bee smarter than me? But it has this intelligence, right, that comes from Hashem. Where does the intelligence come from? Or when the sea turtle, it swims from this, I think it's like off the coast of Brazil, and it knows how to navigate all the way to the west coast of Africa, right? Birds have incredible navigation skills. I don't know those navigation skills. Let's say I was able to swim in the water and I didn't have a problem swimming. Forget about the physics. I'm just talking about the navigation skills in the ocean. These sea turtles, they know how to navigate from the coast of Brazil. I think it's Recife. They go all the way to this specific place on the west coast of Africa or some island off the coast of Africa. I don't remember exactly what it is. And they know exactly how to get there. How do they do that? That's incredible. I mean, that's really smart. I couldn't do that. That's incredible navigation skill. And I have maps. I can look at the maps and I try to figure it. I won't be able to figure it out. Unless I have my GPS or something else, I wouldn't be able to figure it out, right? So there's wisdom in the world. Tremendous wisdom. Hashem put this wisdom. That's not nevuah. That's just the wisdom that Hashem put in the world. You got it? So distinguish wisdom from prophecy. Prophecy is it's like, whoa. That's like a quantum jump. That's like a crazy, crazy thing. Okay? Let's continue. All right. All right. So we spoke about the experience of the prophet. What is it that they tell the prophet, or what is the mechanism through which the message is given? That's what we're going to deal with now. What is that mechanism? Hadevarim shemodi'in lanavi b'marei hanevuah. When they want to give the Navi a message in that vision, we said he has a vision, it's always derech mashal, it's always going to be allegorical, meaning the malach does not speak to the Navi through human language. He doesn't use human language. Why? I don't know. Doesn't use human language. What type of language does he use? Some allegorical. The malach has a way of entering your brain and showing you these visions. Right? Now what does the vision mean? It's an allegory. Right? So it means something. You see water in a dream. What does water mean in a dream? Maybe it means life. I don't know. Or a person sees himself swimming in the ocean in a dream. It has a meaning, right? That I can tell you what it means. I just don't want to get into Freudian psychology or Jungian psychology because it's not a class in psychology. But all these symbols have meaning, right? So a person sees things in a dream, they have meaning. That's the language the Malach uses to speak with the Navi. He uses symbolic language. He uses symbols, visual symbols. And how does the Navi know what these visual symbols mean? Here's the difference between the Nevuah and the dream. When you wake up and you have this
dream, do you know what the dream means? No, that's why you go to psychologists. Or we read books on Jung and Freud, and then we understand some things about our lives. Jung more than Freud. I do not love Freud. Just want to make that clear. I do not like Freudian psychology. Nothing against him personally. I just don't like his approach. Be that as it may, when the Navi has a vision, the Malach, it engraves the meaning of the vision in his mind. So he wakes up, he not only remembers the vision, he sees the meaning. So there's a vision and there's the interpretation. Those two things come together. When you have a dream, you have the vision and the interpretation is hidden behind the vision. In the Nevuah, it's separate. You see the difference between a Nevuah and a dream? Very important. So the Navi has no question about what he just saw. When I wake up, I'm confused, like, whoa, what was that? Like, Is that good or is that bad? Like, I don't really know, right? Navi doesn't have that, right? He's okay. He sees what he saw. Okay. Example. So Jacob goes to sleep. He's running away from Esav. He's leaving Israel. He hits Jerusalem by accident. He's on Mount Moriah. This is a place where they're going to be building Bet HaMikdash, Haram Moriah. He's sleeping there, and he has a vision. What does he see in the vision? Sulam. Thank you. He has the sulam. It's firmly placed on the ground, Musav Arsa, and it's facing towards the heavens, and he sees the Malach Elohim olim v'yoredim bo. Okay, what does that mean? So that's a vision. It's a visual vision, and he knew exactly what it meant. So when he woke up, he knew what the meaning was. Rambam says, so this vision of the angels going up, so each angel represented a different nation. So the nations go up, right, and then they go down, and then another nation goes up, and then it goes down, right? So there's the vision of Yaakov Avinu has to do with the oppressive nature of political society. So the nations oppress each other. So this is oppression. It's called She'ibud Malchuyot. And maybe when we study Perashat Vayesei Yaakov, whenever that comes, later on in the year, we might deal with that vision as well. Okay, so he saw the vision and he saw the meaning. What else? Yehezkel הנביא, he sees the חיות הקודש והאופנים בחיות הקודש ברעש גדול ונשיאים לעומת השרפים. חיות הקודש, Yehezkel sees them. So what do these חיות mean? These bizarre angelic beings. So he knew what it meant. He knew what it meant, right? And Rambam in the Moreh Nevuchim, he discusses this in the 3rd chapter. What is this meaning of these Hayot HaKodesh? It's the most difficult part of the Moreh Nevuchim. Is that part of the Moreh? Okay? Yehezkel knew it. He saw it and he understood it. What else? Ve'hasir hanafuach umakel shaker shera Yirmiyah. So Yirmiyah Navi sees this pot that's exploding. It's like exploding, and it's like coming like it's coming from the north and it's exploding towards the south. That was a vision, right? So what does that vision mean? It means that there's going to be some explosive evil force coming from the north to the south, and that explosive evil force was Babylonia that was going to invade Israel. For example, the Megillah Shel Yehezkel. So Yehezkel HaNavi, this is a vision. He sees a Megillah. He sees a scroll. And then Hashem tells him, eat the scroll. That's like really weird. Yehezkel sees really unusual, very, very unusual visions. What does that mean? Zechariah sees these two angels with very large wings, and they're carrying together a large ephah. Ephah is a measuring cup, or it's not really a cup, it's a measuring bowl used to measure flour. So what does that mean? So that has a meaning, right? He knew what it meant. It's deep stuff, so I'm not like my purpose is not to explain the prophetic visions, just to give you like a survey of the way this works. Okay? Let's continue. וכן שאר הנביאים יש מהן אומרים המשל ופתרונו כמו אלו ויש מהם אומרים הפתרון בבנה. A lot of times when you open up the book of Nevi'im, you see both of these things. You'll see the vision, and then the Navi will say, and this is what it means. Sometimes you open up the Navi and you only see the mashal. He doesn't say what it means. He knows what it means, but he's not telling you. For whatever reason. For example, when Yehezkel HaNavi speaks about Chayot HaKodesh, that has to do with the secrets and things, esoteric knowledge, that is not for everybody. So he's not talking about it. So he just tells you the mashal. But people like Rambam, they decoded it. They understood it, right? So it can be decoded. We can do that through Rambam, if we're worthy, right? Another example, or there could be a situation the opposite. There could be a situation where the Navi will just tell you the meaning, but he won't give you the vision, the original vision. You see that a lot. Right? So but the bottom line is when he received the vision, when he received the message, he got both of them. That's the point. That's what we have to understand. That's the way it works. You get it? You have any questions before we continue?
Right.
for 8 months.
Right. Sorry to hear that.
But I did not lose belief, hope that I will see again.
Okay.
And only Hashem helped me. And you know how?
Right.
I saw dream. Hashem told me this, sentences from the Kings, David, Psalms. Raise your eyes over the mountains.
Right. So I think
Raise your eyes over the mountains. It's very
Right.
philosophical. It
Right.
means I have not to go down.
right.
I have to raise to Hashem. And I started to draw a picture.
Right.
Blind, I drew a picture of Mount Sinai.
Right.
And on top, I drew eye. And I told that sentences, what I was reminded Hashem to me from Psalms, raise your eyes over the mountains.
Right.
Totally,
So I would I understand it's a very
Any sedation,
It's-
no sedation. I did operation
Right.
on both eyes.
okay. That,
Hashem helped me. I did
so that's a
operation
great story.
on
That's a great story. And but let's focus on this because I really want to try to get a little further. So let's get back to the thing. It's a great story, very touching, and thank you for sharing that. Okay, Kol HaNevi'im En Mitnabe'in Bechol Ait Sheyirtzu. Now here's another thing. So let's say I have my mind, and now I want to study a sugya in the Gemara. Okay, who is it up to? My mind. I want to study this sugya. It's up to me. I can study it, right? It's up to me. It's not like that with prophecy. Prophecy, it's not up to the prophet to receive the vision. It's up to him. You understand? They can hope for it. So what would they do? Ela mechavenim da'atan. They would prepare their minds. V'yoshevim semechim etuvei lev u'mitbodedin. If the Navi felt that it was time for a nevuah, it would be like an intuitive thing. It would be like an intuitive feeling. The Navi says, you know what? I think there's something there, whatever that is. So they would go away from people where they wouldn't be able to be disturbed. And they would be in a state of happiness, studying Torah, but not just that. Because the nevu'ah and ha-nevu'ah shora, lo mitoch hasvut. If a person is sad, he cannot be a Navi. So if you're crying, you're mourning, you're upset, you're whatever, you can't be a Navi. Velo mitoch hasvut. Another thing, you can't be a Navi doing nothing. If you're a lazy person and you're just unproductive, watching whatever reruns all day, that's not good, okay? Velo mitoch aslut, ela mitoch simcha. A person has to be happy. Now, happy doesn't mean drugged up. It means you have a sense of joy at what you're doing with your life. You're doing good things with your life, and that gives you a feeling of joy. Just being happy when you're watching reruns all day or playing video games on your phone, that's not simcha. That's actually, there's something very wrong with that. If a person feels satisfied with that, then something very wrong. I got to tell you, I remember when I was in Hong Kong, I think it was 15 years ago, I used to go visit Hong Kong a lot for a client, and I remember I used to see people with video games on their phone. I guess the technology was, a little bit more advanced than ours. And I said, I just don't understand. I just don't understand it. I don't get it. But now, I see it all the time in New York. Everybody's on the subway, playing video games. This dot just ate up that dot. Wow. And now I get to eat the other dot also. I wonder what's going to happen next. I just don't understand how people, they find satisfaction for that. But that's me. That's me. No. Let's continue in the book. Okay? So that's atzlut. Atzlut is not a good thing, right? Atzlut is a bad thing. Lefichach b'nei ha-nevi'im. So what would the prophets do? You ever see these hafles? We have Rav Yosef, Alav Shalom, and you have Moshe Habusha and others, and they're coming with the oud and the this, and they have beautiful music and pizmonim, and that's what the Nevi'im would do. That's what they would do. They would bring somebody would come with a nevel, another guy would come with a tov, another halil, bechinor, oud, tarbake, hazanim, pizmonim.
They would sing these beautiful songs in praise of Hashem with beautiful words. Right? So you have beautiful melody, beautiful words. They would sing it, and then the Navi would, so to speak, be anticipating the Nebu'ah. And you see this a lot in the book of Shemuel, where Shemuel was teaching the young students to be Navi'im, and he would take them through this process. Right? So you have to have good Hazanim, good Raymond, and this and that, and oud players and all that, and then the Navi can reach Nebu'ah. Right? That's the way it was. So it's very important. All right? And then it would happen. So you understand the process of the Nebu'ah. It's very interesting what a Navi would do in order to get to the point where he would get a prophetic message from Hashem. He had to be happy, joyful, content. When you feel joy and content, and then you praise Hashem with your words and with your songs, you can get the prophetic message. You see, they're very profound. So this has to do with emotions, by the way. Again, just to be fair, we're not legislating emotions here, but it does show that emotions play an important role in the Jewish personality, right? If you completely squelch your emotions and you're logical and cold, then you'll never be able to advance intellectually. Okay. Let's continue. You see this in the book of Shemuel, as I say. There were people who wanted to learn how to become Nevi'im. They were called the children of the Nevi'im, because the children means a student of. So the same way a biological son is a child, a spiritual son is a child. Because a biological father brings his biological son to this world. But a spiritual father, meaning the Chacham who teaches Torah to the Talmidim, he brings the Talmidim, he gives them life in the next world. So the Bnei Nevi'im, the children of the Nevi'im, that was a way of explaining the relationship between, let's say, Shemuel, who was the father of these children, who he taught Torah to, and now they were his children, and many of them reached a level of Nebu'ah. So this was a generation where Nebu'ah was becoming prevalent, and Shemuel HaNavi was the leader of that generation. Now, it could be that they'll do everything that they can. They're doing everything perfect. They get an A+ on the test. It could be that they'll become Nevi'im, but it can also be ve'efshar shelo tishteh. It's up to Hashem. Hashem chooses. Right? V'hanoti et asher achon. Right? Hashem says that. Sometimes I lie. I love a person, whatever the reason is, I decide I'm going to be honen on. I show him special grace. I give him, right? We don't know why. How does Hashem choose one person and not choose another? That's Hashem's business. Only He knows the reason, right? Right? That's Hashem's. So that's the way Hashem chose the Nebu'ah. We don't know. Everything we said applies to every single Navi. To Abraham, to Yitzhak, to Yaakov, to everyone, except for who knows? To who not? Moshe Rabbeinu. It applies to everyone from the beginning of time until the end of time, except for one person throughout human history that was different. He was different, and even in the future, there will never be another person like Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu was the highest level. And he wasn't, Arambam doesn't even just consider him in one of these levels of Nebuah, he considers him above it. So there's humanoids, there's Nevi'im, and there's Moshe Rabbeinu, right? You get the idea? So now we're going to study about Moshe Rabbeinu. Until now we studied about the regular Nevi'im. Now we're going to study about Moses. So Moses was special. And we're going to read what it was. Okay. So what's the difference between the prophecy of Moses and the prophecy of the other Nevi'im? How is it different? As follows. As we said, a regular prophet, he would see the vision in a dream, some sort of mirror, a mirror which was able to reflect the image. Moses was not like that. Moshe Rabbeinu was fully awake.
The same way, remember I said that the Navi couldn't be awake because while you're awake, the brain is busy processing different things in the world, and when the brain is busy with those things, it doesn't have enough space, processing power to accept the vision of the Malach, so therefore he has to fall asleep. Moshe Rabbeinu, no. His brain had enough processing power to just totally shut off the physical world and speak to Hashem. So that's the first difference. Other Nevi'im sleeping, Moshe Rabbeinu awake. Another difference. And how do we know this? How do we know Moshe Rabbeinu was awake? Shneimar, Ubo Moshe el Ohel Moed לדבר איתו, וישמע את הקול מדבר אליו מבין שני הקרבים. When Moshe Rabbeinu heard the voice of God, he would physically walk into Ohel Moed, and he would go into the Kodesh HaKodashim. A person was walking, going into the Kodesh HaKodashim, and speaking to Hashem, fully awake. You said Moshe Rabbeinu was fully awake. Other Nevi'im, we said Avraham Avinu, vision. Yeshaya, vision. Everybody, vision. Moshe Rabbeinu, awake. Number one. Number two, second difference. Kol HaNevi'im al yedei malach. I said at the beginning of the class that there was a three-step process. There's Hashem. Hashem would speak to the malach. Okay? Then the malach, the angel, would speak to the Navi. And then the Navi's brain would process the information and see the vision. So that's three steps. Moshe Rabbeinu, there was no malach. Therefore, when the Nevi'im see things, we said, how do malachim speak? Malachim don't speak with words. How do they speak? With visions. So if a malach comes to you, he'll give you a vision. That's malach. He doesn't speak. He doesn't say, hey, what's going on, man? Tell me, what's it about today? So malachim, they don't do that. They give you visions. So when the Navi'im, a Navi comes to them, a malach comes to them, it's a vision. Moshe Rabbeinu, there was no malach. Moshe Rabbeinu no alidei malach. And because there was no malach, there was no vision. It was speech. It was linguistic. That's right. Shneimar pe el pe adaber bo. I spoke to him mouth to mouth. It's like Hashem was able to, it wasn't even through the ears. The word of Hashem would just enter the brain of Moshe Rabbeinu. It was like a direct entry into the brain. Pe el pe adaber bo. And Hashem would sort of almost speak through the mouth of Moshe Rabbeinu to the Jewish people. Adaber Adonai Moshe lemor. And then Moshe Rabbeinu would speak whatever he's speaking. So he was fully awake. Hashem was speaking to him directly, and Moses was speaking to the Jewish people directly. No malachim, no visions, no intermediaries. ונאמר, ודבר אדוני אל משה פנים אל פנים כאשר ידבר איש אל רעהו. Hashem spoke to Moses face to face, the way a person speaks to his friend. The way I'm speaking to you now, that's how Hashem spoke to Moshe Rabbeinu. That's only Moses. Nobody else was able to nobody else reached that, nobody else will reach that. Yes?
I'm still having difficulty seeing how this is different from Abraham.
Avraham Avinu was asleep.
No, Abraham spoke to Hashem.
Oh, wait, hold on. Okay. Correct. There was a dialogue taking place. But when Avraham Avinu had that dialogue, he was in a deep, deep state. Tardema nofelet alav. There was a tardema. What's tardema mean? A very deep sleep.
Is that the case when they were talking about?
Right. So many times, correct. The Torah does it every time. So every time Hashem speaks to Navi, the Torah doesn't go, and then he fell asleep, and then the Malach came to him, and then the Malach touched his brain. Doesn't do that. Correct. It's true. In Berip and Abetanim, it described some of that. It describes. But when Hashem spoke to Avraham, always he was in a prophetic state. He wasn't awake. So even when he sees Sedom Va'amorah in the prophecy, he's seeing it in a prophecy. He's not seeing it with his physical eyes. He's seeing it with his mind. As he's in his, by the way, just so you understand, I want to make this clear. You have time. Yeah, this is a good way to end. People they confuse something. So when we go to sleep, our minds are kind of less aware of what's happening around us, right? We're kind of like, we don't really know what's happening around us, right? So sometimes when we're sleeping, maybe we hear a sound from the outside, but many times we don't, right? Because we're asleep. So we're not fully aware of what's happening. Our mind kind of shuts off. So now when we say that the Navi goes into a deep state of sleep, so you say, okay, so he doesn't really see it, and that's just a mistake. When a Navi sees something in a vision, a prophetic vision, it's actually, let me take a contrarian position. It's more real than what we see with our eyes. What we see with our eyes is less real than what the Navi sees, that the Malach is giving him a vision. Okay? What I see with my eyes is just the nature of my eyes. And my eyes, they're designed to receive certain wavelengths of electromagnetic radiation. So I said the electromagnetic radiation. So my eyes can see certain wavelengths, right? From, from red to violet, I guess, something like that. But if it's like infrared, I don't think we can see that in ultraviolet. The eyes have limited capacity, correct? So all I'm seeing is, I'm seeing colors with my eyes because my eyes are designed in a certain way. If they're designed in a different way, I would see different colors. Right? So it's not really reality. It's just the way my mind processes reality. Same thing with hearing. There's some things I hear, some things I don't hear. Right? So when the Navi gets a vision from the Malach that's far more real than the reality, the objective reality that we all see around us, and we're sure, it's real, right? No, it is real. I'm not saying it's not. What I'm saying is, well, first, I don't believe in objective reality. Another story. At least not in the sense that people think of objective reality, but again, philosophy, push that aside. Okay, well, right. But what I'm saying is that the reality of the vision of the Malach is a reality that touches the brain. It's not dependent upon the eyes or the ears or the nose. It's a higher form of reality. You get what I'm trying to say? Is this like, yeah? Okay, this is like important. So don't think, the Navi is sleeping, so he's really like, he's a little, no. He's only asleep from this physical state where we need these physical organs to help us process what's around us. But now he's at a higher state where he processes the world around him at a far more profound manner. Right? That's the point of the Nevu'ah. You got that? Okay, it's important. Can I have some water? All right. Let's continue. We have another 3 minutes. Okay. 4 minutes, okay. 4 minutes it will be. All right. So we were talking about Moses, as we spoke to him face to face. And the pasuk says, "Utmunat Adonai yabit," right? Kelomar she'en sham mashal. There was no parable. There was no allegory. Ela ro'eh adavar al buryo. Moses saw what he saw clearly. Belo chida, no riddles. Belo mashal. Not like Yechezkel Hanavi, take the Megillah, eat it, whatever that means. No. Behu she'atorah meida alav. Umar'eh velo bechidot. When Hashem speaks to Moshe Rabbeinu, there are no riddles. It's clear words that Moshe receives, and he transmits these exact words to the Jewish people. The exact words, and that's what the pasuk says. By the Ben Adonai and Moshe, lemor. What does lemor mean? To repeat these words to the Jewish people. Moshe repeats the words that he hears from Hashem. So everything in Torah Moshe is directly, every word comes from Moshe Rabbeinu, comes from Hashem to Moshe Rabbeinu, to us. Every single word in the Torah, without exception. This is very important. Every letter in the Torah, every word in the Torah is from that high state of Moshe Rabbeinu, receiving from Hashem, giving to the Jewish people. He's a messenger. Correct. He is a messenger. All the prophets, when they have the prophetic vision, it is a terrifying experience. It brings weakness, and they almost collapse from the experience. Oh, they do collapse. Moshe Rabbeinu, and okay, Moses was not like this. He spoke to Hashem like he was speaking to his friends. When I speak to Eli and I speak to whoever I speak to, I'm okay with it. I can take it. Moshe Rabbeinu was able to speak in the presence of Hashem, and he was okay. The same way a person, when he speaks to his friend, he doesn't, oh my gosh. No, he's okay. Also Moshe Rabbeinu was able to speak with Hashem and he was standing up completely, fully functional. That was the power of Moshe's mind, right? And this had the consequence that it happened. And we'll continue this next week. We have a few more halachot, and we're okay with the holidays. It's still a ways off. Okay, so I think we did some nice material today, and it's very important to know this, because when you when you study the Torah Shebichtav, right, the Chumash, the Torah that we take out of the Aron HaKodesh, we have to understand every single word, every letter comes from Moshe. But Moshe gave it to us, not through it wasn't like he had to intuit it. It's not like he had to he saw a vision, he said, oh, this vision means that. No, everything was given directly to Moses in a precise and ambiguous manner. So when we read these words, we're reading the words of Hashem in the Torah. The words of the Torah, the words of Hashem. You got it? That's so important. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen ve'amen.